Hey WLSers, Shrinking Sarah here. Just a quick video here to talk about a couple of things. As I've mentioned in my last update video and a couple of times before, I am seeing someone now. When I first started this process, I was very adamant that I am focused on me right now. I am not looking for no relationship to mess with that, let's see, Fat King Walter also made a very similar video talking about that early in his process also, just that it wasn't something that was on our minds. We're not thinking about dating. We are focused on this process and making ourselves better. And now here we are. Dating and weight loss surgery. I would imagine that there's a lot of people out there who are wondering how to handle the issue of having had weight loss surgery in the dating world. I mean, you meet a guy, he takes you out to a nice restaurant, he buys you a dinner, you can eat like an eighth of it. I carry a certain amount of guilt with that. I don't anymore. I've been with my boyfriend for 4 months now, and he knew about my surgery from the outset, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And I know, and he knows, that when we go out and he gets me a meal, that he's basically feeding me for 4 or 5 days. I keep things. I take to-go boxes. I don't have a problem with leftovers. If I got a really good meal, then I am totally happy to eat it 3 more times, or whatever. And he's cool with it too. So we don't really worry about it anymore. But when you're starting out and you're early in your relationship, I felt very concerned about having someone take me out for a meal and then be like, oh, thanks, I'm going to take like 90% of this meal home with me. I felt guilty about the money that was being spent on me when I couldn't really eat much of it. And I really worried about that because I wasn't sure when I first decided to put myself back out there online and date. I wasn't sure whether to come out with my surgery. I wasn't whether to be like, oh, by the way, this is just a part of who I am, blah, 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 or be really, like, I know people that were really, kept it tucked to themselves, very personal about it, didn't tell coworkers, friends, blah, 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 blah. I never felt that way. And I felt that in order to avoid the awkwardness of going out and not being able to eat very much, the easiest thing for me to be was completely open. So my dating profile actually said on it that I had this surgery under a section where it was like anything else you wanted to say, or most personal thing you're willing to admit here, or whatever. I put down that in October of 2013, I had VSG WLS. I was very kind of snarky about it. I don't know if I would recommend that, but I was like, I had VSG WLS, and if you know what that is, kudos. So my boyfriend actually knew before he knew me. And it took a lot of that, hey, by the way, I had surgery, I used to be really fat, conversation out of the equation. And because I didn't want to have that whole, oh, you might like me now, but once upon a time, I didn't want to deal with that. And I didn't want to deal with actually having met someone and liking them and having them be like, oh, you used to be fat, I'm not doing this, and being one of those horribly vain people that you just don't want in your life anyway. I didn't even want to meet them. I didn't want to deal with it. So I decided to be very open about it on my profile page. That way, if someone didn't want to look it up, then they could ask me about it just quite openly. Or if someone already knew what it was, they would know that about me, or whatever. It opened the conversation without having to figure out how to open the conversation. So that's how I handled that. I don't know if that would work for everyone. It worked for me. It made things a lot easier. And the truth of the matter is I only met a few people post-surgery when I decided to start dating again. October, November, December, January, October, November, December. So it was about 4 months post-op. So I was well into my solid food phase. I was solidly logging. I was solidly into my process. I knew who I was in that process, and I knew where I was going. And I think that early on, you got a lot of hormones running through your body. Your brain doesn't really think right. So that's one of the reasons why I held off on getting online and making that decision. But really, I just wanted to solidly be in my process and know what worked for me before I added another person into that mix. If you're not solid in your process, if you're not comfortable in your process, if you're still trying to figure out where your footing is and all of that and all those kinds of things, then you quite possibly might want to wait longer in dating if you're single and try to. Openness and communication. Be an advocate for your needs. If the person cares about you, if they value you, if they respect you, if they come to love you down the line, they will be happy to be with you on this process, in this journey. They won't find you an inconvenience because you have certain needs as far as your diet goes. They won't be offended when you only eat an eighth of your meal. And you will really need that in a partner if you choose to add that person into the mix. So that's my opinion on getting out there in the dating world. If you want me to weigh in on a specific part of that or something like that, if you have like some kind of question on how it was for you to meet someone new after surgery, shoot me a message, make a comment below. I'll take a look. I'll try to do my best. The only thing I can tell you is how the experience went for me and how I chose to do it. I'm introverted. Take that into account. And I've been very open about this process, which is very kind of crazy. I seem like an extrovert in going through this process. I'm doing these videos and everything like that. But I am very introverted. But I made a conscious choice to overrule that sense of need to be super, super private in order to leave myself open to clear communication with whomever I met. So, like I said, worked for me. It's what made me comfortable. It's made all the conversations about my surgery comfortable, and might not work for you, might not jive with your personality maybe, but all you can do is try, right? And see how it goes. So if you got a question on how I handled something or whatever, or if you have any other questions, you want me to make any other videos about what it's like to, be adjusting to your body when you're adjusting to someone new or anything like that. These are all ideas I have bouncing around in my head, and I'm probably going to make a couple of videos. I'm probably going to talk about getting it on at some point because it's an issue. It can be an issue. It cannot be an issue. It's all about personality. I'll talk about what that's like for me at some point. If you're super duper jazzed and want to hear about it, or you want to hear about my experience, shoot me a comment. Say, we want to hear this. I'll make you a video. In the meantime, I'm at the 9-minute mark. I really don't want this video to be more than 10 minutes. I love you guys. Like I said, questions, shoot me a comment. Love you. Bye.